$5,000 every single month in passive income. In this video, we're going to break down how many shares and how much money you have to invest in MLPI by NEOS to achieve that goal. And I choose $5,000 for a very specific reason. You multiply it by 12 and you have $60,000 every single year in passive income, which is roughly the annual salary or average salary for Americans. And I know some of you, it may be higher, it may be lower, depending on where you live. That's the average. So we're going to break down exactly how you can achieve this passive income dream. If you're new here, my name is Spencer. I talk all about investing, dividends, passive income on the channel, and I absolutely love it. So we're going to break all of this down. I've been investing for quite a long time now, almost 9 years, and I love monthly and weekly dividends. If you're interested in learning more about dividend investing, about ETFs, don't forget to hit that like button and to subscribe, and let's grow our portfolios together. MLPI is one of my favorite funds by NEOS for a number of reasons, and I'm going to show you guys exactly why that is here in just a moment. The returns have been very, very solid, even though it is a little bit of a newer fund in their lineup. Now, what MLPI is, it's their MLP and Energy Infrastructure High Income ETF. And what that means is they are holding energy companies and MLPs in an ETF wrapper, and they are utilizing an options overlay on that wrapper. And what this does is it gives you the bonus of MLP and energy company dividends and options overlaying for additional premiums and thus passive income. And that's why the yield is 14.5%. You're combining distributions from the companies, or dividends from the companies, I should say, and distributions from the ETF wrapper itself. Pays out monthly, management fee 0.68%, a little bit high. I'm not really upset about it because, again, the performance has been absolutely amazing. Now, what's cool with this one, and one of the biggest pros of MLPI in comparison to holding these MLPs outright or these dividend stocks outright, is the fact that you don't have a K1 with MLPI. You're going to get that 1099 form. This will save you time and money. If you do your own taxes, if you pay someone to do your taxes, the K1s are very annoying. And the reason they have K1s is a lot of these MLPs are structured where if you're an investor, you're more like a partial owner, and that gives you a different way of filing your taxes. So if you have a lot of these companies that require K1s, it can add up quickly. For instance, my accountant charges $25 per K1. If you hold these companies in a Roth IRA, you are exempt. But if you're in a traditional brokerage, you got to pay that fee to hold these, or do the really annoying, all the number crunching yourself, which takes a lot of time. So that's one bonus. And the tax loss harvesting, which a lot of the other NEOS ETFs utilize as well. And then it's going to give you appreciation to the underlying MLPs and energy infrastructure companies. And let's talk about why that is very, very important. I'm going to scroll down and show you guys this fund. The distributions have been good, 66 cents, 70 cents, 68 cents. But this fund, the holdings, top 10, ENB, WMB, TRP, KMI, TRGP, OKE, LNG, PPL, ET, EPD. I held ENB and ET for a very long time before moving that money into MLPI for the tax benefits and the diversification. And the diversification is very important. That's a key point to this video. Yes, we want to hit $60,000 in annual passive income. Yes, we want to make $5,000 a month off MLPI, but you have to understand the risks that are involved when you're trying to achieve something like that. So the holdings are very, very solid. And one thing that's interesting is a lot of these holdings pay a higher dividend. I think ET is around 7 or 8%, ENB around 6 or 7%, and some pay a lower dividend. They're not focused on paying out a consistent dividend, 1 or 2%. And that makes an interesting lineup where they're able to get a high distribution rate with the options as well, but you're still getting some dividends combined. Now, the rest of the portfolio that's not producing income, I mean, it's still producing income on the options, but that's not focusing on dividends, is giving you that growth factor. And that is key as well. So this fund really is very unique in terms of how it's functioning and the way that NEOS built it. And that's one reason why I really like it. Another reason we're going to look at right now. On stock analysis, we have the comparison of MLPI, QQQ, and SPY. It's MLPI versus the Nasdaq 100 and the S&P 500. And you can see we went to total return, which is starting December 18th to current day, that MLPI is outperforming. And what's very, very interesting is we had an unfortunate world conflict, a very unfortunate world conflict. We went to war. I don't want to talk about it. I'm not happy about it. And that sunk the market for a number of weeks. But in the meantime, oil was going up. And so we had it all through March, and now the markets have rebounded and are climbing back up, which is great. I mean, we saw the Nasdaq was down 11%, SPY was down 6, and now as we sit, SPY is up 11.5 and the Nasdaq is up 16.8. But MLPI still comes out on top with those distributions, 22.28%. Now, I do want to showcase, if we just look at price change, it is very different because MLPI is growing in price, but the distributions make a massive change. The Nasdaq outperforms it on price alone, but you have to look at total return to see the full picture, which I think is extremely important, of course, as a dividend-focused investor. Now, the AUM of MLPI is very safe, nearly 800 million. This is not one of the ones that's going to be liquidated, in my opinion. NEOS, they've done a really good job with this one. And let's talk about another reason why this fund is so important. We touched on it, and that is diversification. So the top holdings of both the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100 are primarily composed of the Mag 10. So we can see we have NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon. There's Google, Broadcom, AMD, Tesla, Meta, if I didn't already say that, Google, and even MU, which is not part of the Mag 10. But there's a lot of overlap between these two ETFs, between these two indices. Let's look at, again, the top 25 of MLPI. We have Enbridge, OKE, we have LNG, ET, EPD, and scrolling down, MLPX, AM, PAA, and just so on and so forth. Now, a lot of these you guys might not know. I know a lot of them because I've been tracking energy companies for so long because I like them for diversification. But again, I don't hold any of these out right now. I simply hold MLPI, and it has been a huge benefit so far. So we don't know, again, how this will perform long-term. We have seen a really hot market for oil, for energy, for natural gas, and thus MLPI has been doing well. But there are some risks we need to talk about. If the world conflicts end, which I hope that they do, indefinitely would be amazing, then we could see a pullback in MLPs, in MLPI, specifically because of that pullback. It all depends on what you think is going to happen. I do think there will always be value in these MLPs and thus in MLPI, and I've been holding the dividend companies for years. So you guys know I like them, right? I made a ton. I made 100% on ET. I made 40, 50%, 60% actually on Enbridge. And so I like holding them as that diversification play. But it could be rocky. We could see a pullback. And so I just want to say, keep your expectations realistic. On top of that, the yield has been amazing because there's been a lot of volatility. And volatility is the same. Volatility up creates volatility. Volatility down creates volatility. So it wouldn't necessarily mean a lower distribution rate. I imagine NEOS is pretty comfortable keeping it around that 14.5% range, but it's something to note. We're in a highly volatile market, as we can see by the chart. So what I'm going to show you guys now is the backbone to what makes MLPI run. And that is the top 10 holdings compared to each other. And because MLPI is new, we don't have as much price history. So I want to showcase how these holdings have been performing. And again, past performance is not indicative of future results, meaning we can't look at the past and say it's going to happen this way exactly because that's how it happened last time. Things change, variables are different. This video is not financial advice, but I think these numbers will surprise you. If you are interested in learning more about ETFs, about understanding your portfolio better, and staying up to date on news and distributions, check out the circle group in the description and the pinned comment. I'm going to give you guys a 7-day free trial to check this out and see if it's a good fit for you. We have an active group of ETF and dividend stock and even growth investors in here talking about what's happening in the market, our takes on things, and it only continues to grow, which I'm super grateful for. Ashley's been great at putting all the distribution announcements, so you'll know immediately what dividends are being paid out. And again, there's a free trial, so you don't lose anything if you don't like it. And just always let me know how I can improve it. So check that out. Use that link again in the pinned comment or the video description. And now we'll get back into our video. What we're looking at is the 1-year chart for the top 10 positions within MLPI. And we can see the best performer is actually TRGP. And this is not one, let me zoom in. I know I've been getting comments. It's hard to see the chart. I'm going to zoom in for you guys just so you can see this portion. So we can see TRGP is up nearly 70%. TRP is up 50%. EPD is up 31%. ENB is up 30%. WMB is up 27%, and so on, all the way down to our worst performer of PPL, up 1.5%, and LNG with a lackluster 8.55%. Now, the beauty of this, like I stated, is we are diversified. So you get the best performer and the worst performer, but so far we've seen really good performance from these companies. And again, I stated why. The news, what's been happening in the market. If we zoom out to 3 years, we see TRGP is up big, almost 300%. This one just absolutely took off. And then in second place, we have WMB, then we have TRP, KMI, ET, ENB, and so on. So these companies have done remarkably well. I mean, the average would probably be somewhere in the high 90s, meaning you're getting roughly a 30% return on your money every single year. And this chart is factoring in the dividends because these are not ETFs. They don't pay distributions. They are companies that pay dividends. At least some of them do, like I stated earlier. And this just goes to show you diversification can really help you. I would never have owned TRGP. I didn't really know about it. I was big on ENB and ET prior. But since moving my money into MLPI, it's done well. And I've gotten more accessibility to these companies. So I'm very, very impressed with MLPI on top of all the factors I already stated. So let's recall. You're diversified. You have a little mini portfolio of growth and income and the options overlaying. And you don't, again, have all NVIDIA fueling your portfolio. You get something different and a completely different sector, not only diversify within the stock market, but sectors as well. Plus that options overlay that they are running so that we don't have to do it, boosting that income and maintaining that high distribution rate and monthly dividends is absolutely amazing. So now we're going to throw all of this into a calculator and I'm going to put in all the factors on there and it's going to tell us how many shares we need and how much money we have to have invested in order to make $5,000 a month off the 14% distribution rate that MLPI offers us. Now, don't forget that this is speculative. We don't know how MLPI is going to perform. It could outperform some years, underperform some years. We're just basing it off of that dividend yield. And what's important also to note is I'm not factoring in any share price increase. So the growth portion of MLPI is a lot harder to track. And so I'm not even going to try. So this is a relatively safe estimate, I would say, because I don't think NEOS is going to cut that distribution, but your NAV could change depending on the performance of the underlying. We have 55.86 per share, starting off with 100 shares, and we're going to work our way up. I know you can just do a direct calculation, but I like seeing how many shares, how much money I have invested, what that gets me on an annual return. Then we have our, of course, monthly dividends. We're not adding anything. We're not going to count this as taxes. We'll say, everyone's taxes are different depending on how much money you make. So it could be a lot, it could be a little, and that will impact. So I don't even factor it in. So you can run this calculation with your own tax rate included. And we're not going to increase the dividend or share price. And we don't have drip on because I want to know how to make $5,000 a month. I'm not reinvesting. And we can see with $5,000 invested, $5,500, we're getting $800 in annual income, which is nowhere near what we need. With $50,000 invested, you get all the way up to 895 shares. And that's amazing. But it still only gets us $7,240 a month. What, $600-700 a month? Not nearly what we need. What about $150,000? That's going to get us 2,685 shares. A massive jump there. We can see $150,000 end balance at the end of the year, but we're getting that $21,720 in annual dividend income. Still not enough. We need more than double this. So let's jump to $450,000. That's going to get us 8,000 shares, and we've made it. We are at $65,000 in annual income. So this is going to come out to even more than that $5,000 a month, but barely. You could run the numbers down a little bit, but I like keeping a little bit of a safe margin there. So to recap, 8,055 shares of MLPI, if it traded sideways, didn't have price appreciation, but maintained a 14.48% distribution rate, would net you over $5,000 a month. It's going to get you $65,160 every single year. The investment amount ends up being $450,000, which is quite a lot. But one thing I also want to talk about is if you actually turned on drip and you did this for 10 years, what's going to happen? Because I am dripping all of my distributions. I get this question asked to me all the time. Why are you a dividend investor? I reinvest. I'm not living off of these dividends. I'm fueling my portfolio and I'm building my dividend snowball. And so what I would do is I wouldn't pull the money out. Let's say even you're 50, you want to retire at 60, you just throw $450 into MLPI, which is crazy. I always recommend diversification. But what happens then is now your annual dividend income after that 10 years is $271,560. I mean, That's insane. You replace your 9 to 5 very, very easily, and you live very, very comfortably. Your end balance during that time, your 450,000 goes all the way up to almost $1.9 million. And that, my friends, is the power of compounding. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to talk to me about this, if you want to learn more about ETF investing, check out the Circle Group. It's a private community and it is for serious investors only. Check that out and let me know what you think. And if you like this video, you're going to like these that are popping up on your screen right now, including the newest Tap Alpha monthly paying dividend ETF on the Mag 10. Check that one out and don't forget to like and subscribe.